What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dallas Daily Show, coming at you from the Neighborhood Loan Studio here in St. Louis, Missouri. Today's episode is Imagine the Possibilities. Let's get into it. All right, so I've told you guys in the past, I've got three boys. Right now, they are 14, 11, and 7. Teenage, preteen, and 7-year-old. And actually, if you listen to this podcast, you hear the 7-year-old in the voiceover, which, by the way, might be the better part of the show some days. Some days I'm like, hey, his voice is way cuter than mine. If you've never listened to the tag and you just speed through it, be sure and listen to my youngest son. His name is Arrow. Yes, Arrow, like bow and arrow. Shoot an arrow. So every now and again, and all of my boys have gone through this phase, but Arrow's in this phase right now where he is in heavy imagination phase. And every now and again, I'll hear, like I go up to his room to go say something, but I'm quietly approaching because I'll hear him in his room and I just hear, come on. And I'm just listening to the sounds of his play. And I so enjoy it. I love listening to him playing it. My oldest son, he used to say this thing, Dad, I'm in my world and the room is disappearing and I'm doing this. And he would call it his imagination game. And Arrow's a little bit more of a toy kid. And Arthur's like a science brainiac sort of kid. But Arrow, I'll hear, and I'll hear all these explosion things. And I'll kind of peek my head around the side of the door and I'll be like, what's he doing? Looking at him. What's he doing? And he's just immersed. He's totally immersed in his world. And here's the thing. He's not putting on a show for anybody. He has no idea how much pleasure and enjoyment I am getting from watching him play his imagination games and watching him play with his toys. He's just in that world and he is discovering all of the possibilities. And I love seeing the world through his eyes. There are days that we're going for walks and the stuff he talks about, I'm like, where did that come from? And then I realized, I used to have that same level of imagination. I used to have that same level of the world is my oyster. Imagine the possibilities. What kind of king could I be in a way? And maybe that was you as well. Maybe you've grown up and maybe your arms have grown a little too long that they no longer reach that imagination that was within you. Maybe we've gotten a little too tall and we no longer feel or can see the level of imagination we could be on. But the truth is, my friend, we use imagination all the time. We use imagination sometimes in the wrong direction. You've heard me talk about this on the pod before, especially when I told you a little bit about my mental health and the battle that I went through years ago. That when I was diagnosed with severe anxiety disorder, and my therapist at the time, psychologist, he said, hey, congratulations, you scored. Well, he actually said, hey, you scored in the 95th percentile for severe anxiety disorder. Congratulations. And I thought that was a weird thing. I was like, congratulations. And he said, yeah, it means that you have a powerful imagination, but it's that your imagination is aimed at all the wrong potential outcomes. So what might be possible, Dallas, if you could take that imagination you have and actually begin to move it toward possible outcomes that you want to achieve, things you want to do in your life? When we had a big imagination, we had a ton of passion. Do you remember the way you used to play as a kid? You were filled with passion, and I think a lot of us have lost that passion. And maybe you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. I don't know where you are right now in your life, 60s, 70s, 80s. I don't know where you are in your world. And maybe you've said to yourself, man, I just don't have the passion that I used to have. I don't have the drive I used to have. I guess I'm too old. There's all the messages we send ourselves, right? I just don't blank. And so then we get to the point where we have to tell people, I gotta discover my passion. People who have their midlife crisis, what they actually say is, yeah, I just haven't loved my life for so long. I need to go out and discover my passion. And what I would like to submit to you is that maybe it's not about discovering your passion. Maybe it's about recovering it. Because when your imagination was big and active, your passion was big and active. When your imagination was that of a child, when you could look at the world and see and imagine the possibilities, that is when you also had a ton of passion and you had a ton of drive. And maybe the world has pounded you down a little bit, and maybe it's knocked you down a little bit, and maybe you've lost some of that ability to imagine, or you think you have. You've lost that ability to imagine the possibilities for you. And I'm here to tell you, it is not about going out and discovering something new. I think it's about recovering something you used to have. I think it's about recovering your passion, reigniting your sense of play, recovering your imagination, resetting yourself, re-inspiring yourself. So in your mind, just think for just a moment, what was the big passion you used to have? Now, don't put the filter on it of, well, that was years ago, Dallas, and I'm too old. I just want you to think of the big passion you used to have, and then I want you to ask yourself this. There it is. You just thought of it. Now ask yourself this. How did I feel? How did I feel when that imagination was alive in me? See, what we have to do is we have to capture the emotion. We have to capture, recapture, rediscover the feeling of what it felt like to be filled with passion, possibility, and imagination. Because that feeling is the key to transformation. So the imagination and the passion, all of that is the key, that leveraging the emotion of that is the key to the transformation that you're seeking. So I just want you to think, what do I need to do to recover it? And what do I need to do to reignite it? And that, my friend, is going to be our positive play call for the day right there. Is I want you to get your positive play calls out, your play call card out. I apologize. And what you're going to do is you're going to write on that, I am recovering and reigniting my passion. Now, this one, I tell you sometimes, again, you're going to write down, I am recovering and reigniting my passion. And a lot of times I'll say, hey, put this in a book, use it as a bookmark, maybe put it on a mirror, maybe put it on your refrigerator with a magnet, whatever it might be. I want you to put this one in a very prominent place. And here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm actually going to have you look at it, and I'm going to have you right here, camera 2, I'm going to have you look at it, and I'm going to have you smile, and I want you to say it like you believe it 5 times. And you're actually going to work your energy up. You're going to smile, and you're going to say, I am recovering and reigniting my passion. Breathe it in. I am recovering and reigniting my passion. You're going to do that 5 times. Doggone it. I am recovering and reigniting my passion. You're going to work yourself up into a trajectory and a momentum of positive ignition to recover and reignite your passion. That is your positive play call for the day, my friend. So that's all I got for you. Go to the website, get whatever resources you need to get, and rediscover, reignite. Have a championship day.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more tools, go to dallasdailyshow.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.